I need your opinion on something, okay? One of them decided to celebrate their traniversary.
The heck?
What do you think about people coming out with their mental illnesses? Or, like,
What?
Do you consider yourself transsexual or transgender? Should non-binary people fall under the same umbrella as trans?
They were sort of like a union that had all of the leftist discords. The serfs.
An actual union.
With the hug box thing, yeah, that bugs me too. That was one of the things that I started to realize after a while, because I had spent a lot of time in Vosh's community. The mental illness genocide altar may end up fronting after a while if these things keep happening. One doesn't like the brutality, right? And so it tends to be very focused on eugenics.
That's crazy. That's a wild bit of lore.
Oh my god.
I loved Hassan so much. I used to be such a Hassan. It's all an act, like Grace
no,
Thorpe, Darius.
it
That's
is
all
not.
an act, right? Am I just like word policing? Am I just falling into the trap?
Hello.
Am I working?
Yeah, you're a little quiet.
Hey. Oh shit! I can hear you on stream. Right. 1 sec. Is that better?
That's a lot better in quality and a little louder. Say a few things.
Okay. I think I just need to like talk properly.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Like pretty much whispering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll help. But I haven't spoken all day. That moment when I realised that shit. Hey. So, yeah, been watching your content a little bit, and I need your opinion on something, okay?
All right.
So, a few weeks ago, probably like a month ago, somebody in my community, I've got loads of trans people in my community, and no idea why, but for some reason, but one of them decided to celebrate their traniversary.
The heck? I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. Like, you know, like a year since being out or something. I'm not sure, or maybe a year since being on hormones. I can't remember, but they were celebrating their traniversary. And as I read that out, I was just like, yo. Basically, I had a take, which is like, trans people, you gotta not do that, because like, if you write that stuff in chat, like, I felt like I was basically saying the slur. I feel like I'm pretty much saying the slur. And I was like, what if like a black person was like, let's celebrate my N-word anniversary, you know?
Well, the word tran isn't necessarily the slur part. It's the word tranny. That's the slur part. And the only reason why it's a slur is because it was just weaponized against trans people. But it was a word that we actually came up with, our community.
See, I don't think it should be a slur either.
Yeah.
I think it like I think that like when you add like that E sound onto the end of a name, it automatically softens a name and makes it sound cuter or something. So like I for ages have said that yeah, it shouldn't be offensive, I guess, but I don't know, like it doesn't hit me as an offensive word, but then obviously I'm not trans, so there's no reason it should. Yeah, I just fear that trans people adding tran or tranner or whatever onto the start of words is a risky maneuver. But am I just like word policing? Am I just falling into the trap? Like,
Well, I think it's funny that you said falling into the trap, because trap was also slur.
Yeah, not in that sense. Fuck.
I don't think it's really okay. I don't see it as like a risk of like a slur thing, a traniversary. But the whole traniversary concept is kind of weird. Whatever. I guess people like to celebrate things like that, but
Okay.
yeah, the concept seems very odd to me.
Okay, so that was another one then. So coming out. So I think like coming out as trans, coming out as gay, coming out of that stuff, fine. What do you think about people coming out with their mental illnesses? Or, like,
What?
diagnoses?
This is a new thing. I hadn't heard of this one. Is that a thing?
Have you not seen people like that come out with their mental? Yeah. Oh God, I feel bad telling you about this now.
Oh no.
Your brain hasn't been poisoned by that. Yeah, people love to come out with their like mental illnesses at the moment. And I think it's like I can find a good example.
Chat, have you guys come out with your mental illnesses and celebrated your losing your mental illness virginity? Have you done that? Has your mentally ill cherry been popped by Twitter yet?
Oh, I think
I'm sure these are going to become things. I'm stating the memes of the future is what I'm doing here. I'm being ironic and silly right now, but like in a year, this is going to be an actual thing. And people are gonna pull up clips of me saying this and pointing out that I was joking about it, but somehow it became a reality. That's what's going to happen in a year. Mark my words. Clip it, guys. Clip it. So we have the record. Clip it on all 3 platforms right now so we have it on record. All right? Post it. Save it.
Posted that.
Yeah. Post it on my subreddit. Post it in my Discord. You know I'm right. You know I'm right about it. When idealization goes too far.
Community. I'm not in the DID community, of course.
Check.
Oh,
there it is.
This is funny. Hang on.
Dissociated and Team Pinata. The community. I'm not in the DID community, of course.
Oh, that explains a lot. Happy DID Day. Happy DID Day. So she celebrated Icy. She celebrated her coming out as DID with a K.
Yeah, and that was last year. Yeah.
Why is this just coming up now? That was last year?
I mean, I just.
Oh, this is 2 years ago.
No, it was 2 years ago now.
This is 2 years ago. Oh my gosh.
I covered this shit when it happened.
Guys.
This shit's like.
Guys.
For me for a while.
Look. Today, on July 22nd of 2023, is my coming out day as Genocide DID, okay?
Genocide did. Oh no!
Right now is my original fronting personality, the Zonia personality, but the mental illness genocide alter may end up fronting after a while if these things keep happening.
Okay, so what if I told you?
Okay.
What if I told you I've had a strike on my channel for like months now from one of these people?
Really?
Yeah, not even a copyright claim, a proper content strike. Like,
have you appealed with Team YouTube, like tag them on Twitter just to see if they can maybe help?
I've not bothered with the Twitter approach. I have like appealed it the proper way 3 times. I've kind of just, I think it is
how does
technically, legally speaking, I think she is right. And so now I'm just being like salty and refusing to do the copyright strike school.
I mean, if you're doing commentary on it, you're pretty good. You're golden because it's transformative. Unless you're just laughing at it.
So the problem is, I was re-uploading a video that a hospital had uploaded. She had struck the video by the hospital.
Huh.
And then, yeah, I re-uploaded that video, and then she struck me as well. So she's just winning at the mo, which is annoying.
So how does it, for one coming out as, genocidally DID, right? Like, how do you celebrate that one? Would you instead say like Happy DID Day on the cake, but instead of icing, it would be bullets? Or
I think you have to determine which alters do what. So like, does every individual personality have a specific group that's genociding, or is it?
Yeah, one doesn't like the brutality, right? And so it tends to be very focused on eugenics, right? And potentially like encouraging better breeding practices to ensure that these people don't reproduce. Yeah. Let's see. Like I said, I'm too edgy, man. I'm way too edgy. I don't even have to cuss, and I just see things that are way too edgy for Twitch. Kick is like where my numbers are these days.
So through rabbit holing and clicking through YouTube, I started absolutely falling in love with all these different DID YouTubers.
Do you have people complaining about that?
What? You're quiet.
Do you have
You're
people
very quiet.
complaining? Oh shit! Do you have people complaining in your kick chat about like messages just not going through?
Yes,
Okay.
it happens
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, that's really annoying. I thought that was just me. Fuck.
Yeah, like right
That's
now,
good.
my chat aggregator stopped actually picking up kick chat. It's like disconnected from kick chat. I gotta wait for it to reconnect. Probably gonna be a while. It's okay though. I can see them on screen, so that's good enough.
That's cool. That's cool. But I don't want to like waste any of your time, but it was really fun.
Well, like
Like
I would say, like for the Traniversary thing, I don't think it's like an issue in terms of the word. I
Okay.
think that's fine. I think that it's weird because it doesn't make a lot of sense when you're. Well, I guess it depends. Like from my perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm a binary trans person, right? My whole goal is transition. So
yeah.
there's
Do you consider yourself transsexual or transgender?
transsexual, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
And-
the people in my community have started like coming around to that way of thinking as well. I find it quite interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't really consider myself to be trans until I started like talking about trans issues as like a subject. So,
Yeah.
but
just
I
a woman.
never yeah, exactly. I just considered myself to be a woman. So that's a new thing, this whole identifying as trans thing and like people wanting to come out as trans and be trans. It's a very new thing. Hey, look at that.
You're
Is
like,
Steven
are
live
you the same
now?
age? You're in your, are you like late 20s, 30s?
Oh, I'm in my mid 40s.
Oh, fair. Okay, right. I thought you might be fair. Oh, well, fair play. Do you think it's worse or better now? For you
Worse,
personally?
I would say.
Much, yeah, because I was like 10 years ago, I was thinking like I used to work at a pub and like a customer would come in and they'd use the toilet, you know, like, and like, I'd like nobody would say anything, and then maybe my boss would be like, Pete, come here, and he'd drag me into the back, all the way down to the back of the kitchen. Then he'd be like, Pete, you see her with the big hands, and that would be it. Like that was the extent of it, you know, and like,
Yeah. I would
I
say
don't think that'd be the
we
case now.
we hit some we hit some like sort of a problem area, like a difficult issue area where because you have to where there were problems like getting health care as a trans person and such, like those are the things that we need to advocate for. But then that turned the spotlight on us, and then a whole bunch of bad actors started taking the space in that spotlight and doing a lot of wild things that got us a lot of negative attention. And then, you know, you had some good actors who were just trying to like, hey, we're just trying to, you know, fight for certain things that we need. But then you have other people like trying to go into the realm of like spectacle and trying to just be wild and suck up all the attention and such. And that creates a bit of an issue for us. Same, mine is lagging. What's lagging? Your kick chat is lagging? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, Kick keeps fucking up. Yeah. Kick seems to be having some issues right now, and the chat aggregator is disconnected from it. It lags and freezes and then closes. Yeah. And it closed on my phone just a bit ago as well. So yeah, I can understand what's going on there. But yeah,
I
so
have one more
we've hit
question.
this difficult part now where there's like tons of attention on us, and because of some of the more wilder actors who are sucking up all the limelight to try and be basically have fun and entertain themselves, you know, over a political issue, and try and tack on their own personal interest to a political movement that's trying to advocate for us for the bare necessities that we need. You end up with a whole bunch of people now feeling motivated that they need to stamp us out and go after us and let us know that they hate us and that we're disgusting freaks and stuff like that. So I don't really know what the answer to that is, but yeah.
Okay. Should non-binary people fall under the same umbrella as trans? I think non-binary people are like legit. I think they have their own issues, whatever. But should they fall under that same umbrella as like all the other trans peeps out there? Like if they don't want to, I mean, I guess I'm mainly talking, I guess, about non-binary people that don't want to get hormones or whatever. Like, should they fall under that same umbrella?
I feel like the
'Cause I think-
umbrella is way too big right now because it's including not just non-binary people, but it's including like trenders, right? The people who are like, you can identify as trans if you want to, right? You know, the whole thing is like it has nothing to do with any kind of like strong, you know, internal drive to be to express oneself in a way that is not in line with their gender, that their at birth gender or sex. So we've got basically, you've got those of us who are transsexual who are like, yeah, our body is all fucked up and wrong, right? And we need health care to address that. And we
and you want
and
it
we're
to be considered an
transitioning,
illness.
and we're transitioning to the other sex. Really, we express ourselves gender wise, you know, right? But we're transitioning. The transition part is the sex part, right? That's the surgeries and the hormones and everything. And so that's a very specific thing that demands a very specific fight for healthcare and access to the special kinds of treatment and everything. And but then you've got all these other people who are just like, no, we're basically queer. We want to be queer and have queer identity and do whatever we want, but we call ourselves trans. But that's something completely different than transsexuals. And so it muddies our ability to fight for the things that transsexuals need. And so I want to have that fight and focus on these things that transsexuals need. So I mean, if people want to be and if people want to be queer and identify as whatever we want, we've got the queer label for that. That's the whole thing. That used to be questioning. The Q used to be for questioning people, so that I
call myself queer. Like I'm bisexual, but I choose the term queer because it fits me better somehow.
Well, it became queer as part of queer theory and queering, which is like a whole movement about like anti-assimilation, not trying to blend in with the norm and being loud and proud and as who you are, right? And so that's what queering is. And so the queer umbrella basically includes all of that. And it's like, why do you want to tack on to being trans? Well, the reality is that a bunch of people want their own personal interests and tastes and rebelliousness and even fetishes. They want those to be basically validated with political validation. So it's not just about being the freak, right? They want this to be accepted politically as like that's what they are. And so you put the trans label on it because that's where the political fight is right now. And then they feel like it becomes something that they have a political fight for now, and it becomes validated. And it's like, look, just be your queer self. End of story. That includes your weird fetishes and stuff, whatever. You don't need to call it trans. So the trans umbrella has become very overly populated with a bunch of identitarians and such, and people who have like ideological identities that have nothing to do about an internal urge to transition themselves sexually and modify their body to allow them to blend in with the opposite sex. That's the whole point. That's the transition. We're not doing it to stand out like a sore thumb and then make trans being our identity. We're doing it so that those of us who are women blend in as women. Those of us who are men blend in as men. That's the transition.
I think that was really well said. Damn. Yeah, it was really well said. So you'd agree with me then that somebody like so I've also been like saying for years now that Blair White is like she can say some shitty stuff, but I can't see her as transphobic. I've never been able to see her that way. Like I've only ever been able to see her as an incredible advocate, basically.
She's an advocate. Her big problem is that, so there's a few things. She won't fight for a lot of fights that are pretty crucial. But probably the worst thing about her, at least, I don't know if she does this anymore, but back in the day, just a few years ago, her big thing was that she would go after small
Bully.
trans creators
Yeah,
and try to annihilate
bullying.
them.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I
even
agree.
it
That
wasn't
shit's
even about
fucked.
bullying. It was about trying to destroy their brand and
Yeah.
take their channel away. Get people to go after
Yeah.
them and damage their
No, I would
reputation
agree
and
with that
everything.
too.
Who Megalol is Z talking to? This is well. Why don't you introduce yourself since I think this is your first time on? You can do your
Yeah, fair.
channel and everything.
Cheers. I'm Grandad's Lounge. My name's Pete. But yeah, I've got a channel called Grandad's Lounge. Been making content for loads of years, too many years now. And I talk about politics, mental health, sort of stuff. I'm very invested into psychology and psychiatry and why people are fucked in the head. And I like playing video games as well. I consider myself like the ultimate Z tier Destiny orbiter. So I've been watching him for ages, but like I never reach out, I never talk to people, so I just like exist in my own little bubble. But I recently felt sick at my bubble. I don't know, I just hated it had become like way too nobody was challenging anyone. It was just like a hug box, and it felt wrong to me. And yeah, I'm on that weird path of finding myself losing a lot of faith in a lot of like the left wing progressive voices that I had liked and loved before. And yeah, on a little path towards the middle, and in the process, like I'm finding the TQ, the trans question. No, I'm finding that like this incredible dividing line where like I will talk to right wingers and I will get them to agree with me on so much. I will get them to be like friendly and we can have banter and we can laugh, but they really, really, really want to call people the T-slur. They really, really, really hate trans people, and it's like I don't know how to like combat that. I don't know how to get through to these people, and thus I find myself probably just forever saying I'm rambling badly, sorry. I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. I smoked way too much before coming on here.
With the hug box thing, yeah, that bugs me too. That was one of the things that I started to realize after a while, because I had spent a lot of time in Vosh's community, and he was sort of where he was very much my entry point into interacting in these communities. Because prior to that, even though I watched Steven off and on in 2017, 2018, it wasn't until Vosh became a streamer in early 2019 that I started to like interact with a community, and I was interacting in his stream chat. Originally in his YouTube chat, and then eventually when White Nervosa got the website up, I started interacting in the website, and I was in his Discord and everything. But one of the things that I realized after a while, like in 2019, there was still ability to disagree in his community, but by like 2021, like late 2021 especially, things had become very ideologically concentrated, and there was like a rigid ideological structure to his community. And also, and Demon Mamas was always that way. They were always hyper ideologically structured. And other adjacent communities. I was in Keffel's community. I've actually known Keffels for a while. She and I met through a mutual friend of ours years ago. But
she seems to be on her own like de-radicalizing arc at the moment as well, though. I feel
I kind
a lot of her content has been a lot more fair recently, but I don't know. YouTube just recommended a load of her videos to me again the other week.
Well,
it's weird.
I was in her community until like December or January of like December 2021 or January 2022, right around there. because her community her community was a very memey community. It was part of what I liked about it, and they were pretty chill. But then they started to become very ideologically concentrated, and like you couldn't have any disagreement. And so I left sometime at the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. And one of the things that like I had noticed, because I used to be part of the union of moderators of Discord moderators, and they were sort of like a union that had all of the leftist discords, the serfs,
an actual union.
Yeah, and
Wow.
It wasn't like it wasn't like an actual union. That was what it was meant to be originally. It was meant to have that kind of originally it was just meant to be like a way to manage like problem viewers and such, and problem users across multiple discords that interact with each other. That was the original idea. But then somebody came up with the idea of turning it into a bit more of a broader union. But that never really happened, and ended up becoming a combination of two things. One, a universal ban list. So if you got banned in one community, if they felt that it was something egregious enough or something they didn't like, they would put it in the global ban list, and then the other discords had the option of honoring the global ban list.
Isn't that what everyone hates that Twitch does?
Yeah. And yeah,
fuck.
Man, France is getting destroyed here. But then the other thing that it became was a way of doing like ideological enforcement. So that was the big thing, where because the communities that kind of headed up originally, it was I forget who the original founder of it was. I think maybe it was Lonerbox, possibly. I don't remember.
Really?
But it didn't become it wasn't the original founders for very long. It got taken over by
I can see Lonerbox doing that. That's cool, but
it effectively got taken over by the Vosh, Demon Mama, and Doe mods, which were a very incestuous mod team. They shared mods and stuff, and they kind of like they locked a lot of things down. If you ever noticed, Vosh's Discord mod team, it's headed up by Vermin Hands, not by Vosh himself. He does nothing with the Discord. And Vermin Hands
Doe is its one, right? I don't know
yeah. And Vermin Hands is like power hungry ideologue, right? Like they were the one who was organizing the mass reporting of Destiny for the mowing down dipshit protesters thing and got him demonetized and such. And they orchestrated a lot of mass reporting and brigading kind of efforts. So that's Vermin Hands. She's the one who runs Vosh's mod team, or they, as their pronouns are they them, and so they were like the top tier, sort of like for the union of moderators. It was Vosh's mod team were sort of like the top orchestrators of it for a while. And it kind of shifted between like either Doe's mods or Demon Mama's mods or Vosh's mods kind of taking the lead with the union of moderators. And it became a means of ideological enforcement. You do anything against the ideology, you're out. Like I got ousted for basically not being against Destiny and having some agreement with them. That was what it was. And then there was also that I was friendly with Gami, who is something that they all are united in hating. Right?
Oh my god!
And
so
the way
I'd have been hated there as well.
The actual ban message from the bot in Vosh's Discord after I left the union of moderators and they banned me from Vosh's Discord. The actual message from the banning moderator was Gami simp. That was the message. I never broke any rules. Never did anything wrong. But
you could just talk in defense of somebody.
Yeah. And they didn't like that I was that I was defensive of Steven, that I wouldn't denounce him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a single like member of my community left if they behaved that way.
Yeah.
There are countless people that I've defended against them, and like, what the fuck? That's actually insane.
Yeah, and they have that for, I don't know if the Union of Moderators is still around, but it was all about ideological enforcement. That was like their key thing at that point. And so they wanted to make sure that every single Discord server that that they represented fit a certain ideological view and lens, and they would ensure that it remained that way, or they would get rid of it and their mods and ban them across all the Discords and such.
That's crazy. That's a wild bit of lore. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. But where's the dog? I want to see Hassan's dog. I thought there was meant to be a bridge being built. Or is it gone already?
It wasn't. I don't know if it was really a bridge being built. It was more of a kind of. I think it's more shoving it in their faces. Did you see someone tried to post in Hassan's subreddit saying DGG rebuilt the dog, and then and then they deleted the post.
Oh Jesus!
It's one of the top posts in our Destiny right now.
Oh my god, I loved Hassan so much. I used to be such a Hassan simp, and he really frustrates me now. And it's just I feel like the longer he goes without talking to Destiny, the stupider he gets. Like, I actually feel like he is losing brain cells every day now, like, just by not communicating with him. They were the best of friends. I want to see it.
Do you see what they did with the dog? The dog has 666s in the paw now.
It's all an act, like Grace Thorpe, Darius. That's all an act, right?
It is not.
So like Grace and her dad, like that's actually her dad.
Oh yeah.
Because I've like seen like that man spank her ass. Like, oh god. Why is Irrelevant dragged into this? I feel like he's too good for like Darius and all of that, you know?
He's friends with Darius, so he wants to take care of the guy. You there? Hello? What the hell? Oh, it crashed. Discord crashed, I guess. Taking sweet time to reconnect. Everybody there? Marco? Yeah, I got disconnected. So it crashed. Yeah, Discord, sorry. Irrelevant is friends with Darius, so he cares about him, is trying to, like, save him.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's never gonna work. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for both of them. I see a lot of a young me and Darius. Shall I leave you to your stream?
Oh,
actually, wait. No, I had one more question. Actually.
Sure.
Shit. Somebody else can ask you a question. Has there been an increase in difficulty in finding healthcare for things like hormones or whatever? Like,
I don't think. Well, not in my state. It's really easy at my state, but I know in others, like red states in particular, there's definitely been an increase in difficulty.
Or like, but has there been anything like shortages, like, or like? I know with like ADHD here in the UK, the waiting list for ADHD diagnosis a few years ago was 1.5 years. Now the waiting list is like 4 to 6 years.
Oh yeah, in general, there's a lot of like, well, it depends on where you are. For nationalized healthcare, there's struggles all over for people. A lot of like nationalized healthcare systems are running out of funding, and so like a lot of things that aren't the standard like general practice and like most common things and the critical things, any things that are other than those tend to be getting deprioritized and pushed back and are not getting handled as readily. Like, I know one of the issues that people have had with trans healthcare actually is where like the trenders will take up a whole bunch of the doctor time but then never actually get HRT or surgeries or anything. And so this is for stuff that's like primarily for those who are on low income programs where they're getting a state assistance to get the trans healthcare, but they've got this massive backlog on actually giving that healthcare to and like getting them to see doctors, because there's a whole bunch of trenders who go and actually take up the time getting diagnosed and everything, but then never get on the HRT and never do any of the surgeries.
So with those right, so with trenders, do you think there is an aspect of social contagion to it then?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a bit of like mass hysteria.
I mean, the fact that there are people who, like, loud advocates who say you can be trans if you want to, you could just call yourself trans and you're validly trans. That right there should tell you, right?
That's Philosophy Tube. Do you know Philosophy Tube?
Yep.
Abigail
Thorne.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
She spoke at
Hi, Yamato.
She spoke at the Pride rally that we had in London like this year, and there she stated that you don't need dysphoria. You don't need, like, she said that she didn't have dysphoria.
She said that she said that she had it, but what is dysphoria? It's just
or something like that.
Feeling bad, and it's discomfort.
I feel that's as rapid a path to exterminating trans people and exterminating trans healthcare as like any right-wing angle.
That's actually what a lot of us have talked about. Is that it's effectively saying, okay, well, so there's no need for trans healthcare then.
That's right. That's exactly what I basically took from it. That was my feeling.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, what's the point then? Right. So like just all of you can just suffer then? Like, unless you have loads of money, and then you can just go
unless
private,
you're
like
rich like her.
Okay, right. I'm glad I'm not mad for feeling that way. Like there's a lot of rhetoric currently coming from progressive mouthpieces on the left that I feel actually argues in favor of what a lot of the more extreme right-wingers are saying. Like the extreme right-wingers that actually just like fuck not even having like trans healthcare. They do want a eugenics program. Like now they're hearing, well, you know, these trans people, they don't even need dysphoria. Like, that's the worst thing possible, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of like the more extreme queering, advocates who are saying the same thing that that she is. It's unfortunate. Oh man!
Right. I don't want to be that guy that stays too long, so I won't take up any more of your time. But,
I appreciate it.
I'll probably call in again. And yeah, thank you so much. This was really cool.
All right,
and
take care.
Stream.
All right, bye.
Catch you in a bit. Bye. Thank you so much for watching, Loungers. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment, you fucking arsehole.